Hello everybody and welcome back to Hart Talks. So this week I've decided to talk about something that I wasn't going to talk about, and that thing is Gareth Thomas and Jonathan Van Ness coming out as being positive with HIV. Now, as I say, this YouTube is talking about this everywhere, it's all over the press, so there's more than enough people talking about it, but I have been doing some research and found some information that made me realise that it's important that I do talk about this. So get ready, buckle in, and after this, you know what's going to happen. Yeah, it's going to be me. So as those of you that have watched me for a long time know, I have many things in my life that I can talk about because I've experienced them. I was an actor, I worked in the West End, I was a survivor of rape as a child and as an adult. I have diabetes, I have HIV, I have been a transplant patient. So there's a lot of things that I know about that I feel confident in talking about. But I don't feel I have to talk about them all the time because there's a hell of a lot more to me than those things. But as everybody will know, Jonathan Van Ness and Gareth Thomas revealed their HIV status just recently in the last couple of weeks. Firstly Gareth Thomas and then Jonathan Van Ness. Now, I have been watching the fallout from this and it's been really interesting, and I wasn't going to do anything about it. But I have realised that I have to talk about this because I was watching the video on YouTube that The Guardian did, the Guardian newspaper. There was a video of Gareth's talk about his status, and that was fine, you know, I watched that, no problem. And then I started scrolling down and reading some of the comments, and I was horrified, absolutely disgusted and angry, as you can probably tell. But just because, who gives people the right to say these things? Now, you do not know what it's like to live with HIV or to be a survivor of cancer or to be whatever it might be. You don't know what it's like unless you've lived it. And that's the truth. So what I decided to do was read some of these comments out to you because I don't think people understand how much stigma still exists. But it's when you read things like this that you realise, gosh. So anyway, let me read you a few. Anna Hunt says, does he know where AIDS comes from? A lifestyle choice. How many people has he infected? Now, Anna, how do you know that Gareth has infected people? Because if Gareth is on treatment and if Gareth is undetectable, as he has said he is, there is no way of him infecting anybody. Kay Jamie says, shouldn't be sleeping with men, it's his own fault. Lee News says, tank top bum boy in it. Whizpop RC says, that's what you get for that lifestyle. Cry me a river. Andrew Gibson thinks it's his own fault. End of. Makeem Scouse says it's spread by homosexuals. Well, again, you need to get your information correct because it's not spread by homosexuals. It is spread by people who are having sex and don't know that they have HIV and are not undetectable. That's who's spreading it. So it doesn't matter who you are. HIV, AIDS isn't picky. It doesn't have a set group of people. You know, it will affect anybody that's having sex with somebody else that has it. Poo Tube. Who would call himself Poo Tube? Please talk about your lax attitude to wearing condoms and apologise. You are not a hero, rather a menace who didn't practice safe sex. Peter Davies says, The Guardian is telling us that it's actually okay to catch HIV, in brackets, a perfectly avoidable but incurable disease. PJ Jr. says, barebacking hundreds of random grinder men whilst in an open marriage was not smart. People stopped telling him he's courageous. He has no one to blame for his diagnosis but himself. So there's a number of different comments and beliefs and things there, you know, and Gareth says he just wanted to start feeling what it was like to start living again, and I get that. You know, I thought I was going to die, like so many other people with HIV. So many people did die. You know, if you go back to the 80s and 90s, we lost so many amazing, wonderful, important, talented people. And people like Jonathan Van Ness and Gareth Thomas coming out and talking about HIV is important. Very much like when Gareth came out. Those of you that don't know, Gareth was a Welsh rugby player. So big, butch, burly type guy, you know, and he came out as being gay a number of years ago. And I always thought that was really important because it meant that those people that have those ideas weren't going to be able to say, oh, well, you know, it's always prissy, faggy queens that look as if they're gay. You know, Gareth Thomas was coming out and saying, no, gay men can be masculine and butch as well. You know, it's... And I thought that was really important. So now having people in the media coming out and talking about their HIV status is important because you see, you know, that me reading those comments out just proves how much misinformation there is and how many people are not educated. HIV is not caused by homosexuals. HIV is not something that anybody deserves. HIV is something that people catch by doing something that is perfectly natural, and that's having sex. And whether you have sex with a man or a woman, it doesn't mean that you should be sentenced to something like HIV. Thank God that we are so much further on in the way we treat it. I want to say to anybody that's living with HIV that when you read those comments, you would think that your life is over and that you are a bad person. And I thought that for 2 years, and I wanted to die. I didn't want to be here anymore. And it doesn't matter how you got HIV. A lot of people say, oh, well, it was different for you. It's not different for me. It's the fact that I have HIV, that I'm living with it. And it's... oh, it upsets me. It makes me angry. It makes me think, why are people still spreading so much crap and lies about something? You know, educate yourself. That's what I try to do every day in my life. I try to find out about people's lives. I try to find out about the different ways people live, because we're not going to grow. We're not going to be more inclusive if we don't do that. Now, Jonathan Van Ness from Queer Eye, if you haven't watched Queer Eye, watch it. It's great. It's so good. It's on Netflix and you will cry your eyes out. It's so good. And Jonathan Van Ness kind of falls into the other category that I was talking about earlier on. You know, he is more feminine. He's very in touch with you know, the more feminine side of himself, you know. Yes. Then what I noticed on the comments on Jonathan's interviews was that people were a lot more accepting of him. I'm not saying that anything against Jonathan at all. Love him, think he's brilliant. But why is the public getting at Gareth more than they're getting at Jonathan? Is it because Jonathan is obviously gay and Gareth is not obviously gay? Is that what it is? You know, I couldn't help thinking that, you know. And when you look at the two of them, they are kind of polar opposites. So it made me wonder, you know, why are we still judging, laying stigma, you know? And this is where stigma comes from, you know. Stigma comes from people that don't know what they're talking about. Stigma comes from people that are given the wrong information, misinformation. Stigma comes from hateful comments on YouTube. You don't know who's reading that and thinking, yeah, that's right. He is a bum boy. He deserves it. Oh, okay. That was a bit of a rant. Sorry. Well, no, I'm not sorry, because, you know, I just felt that it was important that I said something, that I spoke about it. And yeah. So, what else have I got to tell you? I am going to my friend Richie's wedding next week. So I will be videoing myself somewhere different. So that will be nice. And I don't know if you remember Charles Sanchez, the lovely Charles. He did an interview with me when I was in New York the beginning of this year, and that interview has now come out, so I'll put it in the description box below. I'll also put the link for the video that I've been reading the comments from, the Gareth Thomas video. I'll put that in the description box below as well, so you can check out the article that Charles did. I did a video with Charles as well, so you can check it out up here and read the article and maybe find out a bit more about me, find out a bit more about my story if you don't know it already. I will see you in 2 weeks' time. I will be looking forward to hearing what you have to say on this subject. It's always really interesting to read people's comments and find out what and how and where. And so, yes, please do comment, please like, please share, and please make sure you hit that subscribe button and then hit the grey bell next to it so that you are first to hear that every video that comes out from me. Okay, thank you everybody, and take care, look after yourselves. Big hugs to everybody, and to the haters out there, to the people spreading information that is incorrect, please, I just ask that you educate yourself. You've got access to a computer, then you can find people that are talking sense, like me. I bet you never thought you'd hear me say that. Okay everybody, take care, look after yourselves, bye.